where I want to get started is for you, all of you, to go back 90 days, choose a platform, and go back in your 90 days, see your active listings and how many you sold out. All right. And then divide that number. And then you're going to get your sell through rate. And then we're going to set some goals based on your 90-day performance. Because one of the things that we emphasize with Trish, and as you notice, there are many services out there that will tell you to things a certain way. In List Perfectly and with Trish, because we are actual resellers, we know that imposing a certain way of doing reselling, it's only gonna create temporary resellers, temporary clients for me. That's why LP is still in business and we're thriving. So the good news is that this the same thing we think about your STR, because the standards that we're going to set for Kathy shouldn't be the same standards for Brian. And therefore, that's why I want you to go back on the last 90 days, see your active listings and the sold, and just keep it to yourself. No need, okay? But let's look at the past so we can set a realistic percentage of sell-through rate that we can expect to commit for the next 4 weeks.
So, okay, so what Clara just said, I just want everybody to realize that sell-through rate is kind of one of those things that when you figure out your sell-through rate, you're doing your active listings and your sold listings, right? Those are the two numbers that you need to know. Adding your solds and your actives together. And that is so if you're out and you're just thinking about this, you're going to get a really quick and dirty way to just do solds and active and divide, right? That gives you a really quick and dirty sell-through rate. But to have a real actual sell-through rate, you want to add your solds and your active together before you do the equation. So I did put that in the document, and I put the equation in so you guys could see what it is. So it's sold plus active divided by solds. Does that make sense? Does anybody not understand why that is?
Tomas, I'm assuming that's Tommy in Seattle.
Tommy in Seattle, yes.
Okay, we talk about STR always about buying, but what is a good STR for your store and where should be at?
Is used clothing sellers, which a lot of you guys are. My STR was always pretty low on a 30-day level. Um, but I was volume based, right? So I made up for a low STR with more volume. So you've got to realize that each category is going to have a different baseline for what a good STR is. So doing it daily, you guys, if we started doing it daily, you're going to get obsessed with it. You just
Yeah.
have to pick a day, do it, and
I
move
would say
forward.
weekly or monthly. I think that that's the concern sometimes I get when people get an aha moment of how powerful data is in order to give the right direction of your business, but then they get very data centric. So I would recommend to measure it weekly or monthly. In this case, since we have the contest, to those of you motivated, I would suggest weekly or maybe every 3 days or 4 days.
And even weekly could get a little, it could be
Oh,
obscured. Like if you
yes.
had a big sale, if a church came and said, "Hey, I need 15 speakers that day," right?
Right.
That sell-through rate on that day is going to be skewed. So really you need a larger picture, which is why you can do it daily, weekly to look at it and see where it is, but it's going to go down and up and down and up and you can't get tied into it. Just so you got to start to make changes and look at a week because it is going to go up and down. You're absolutely right. It's going to go up and down. That's why you're not going to know till the end of the 30 days, in my opinion, whether you've moved the
Exactly.
needle or not.
That's why I say, I recommend not to measure on daily basis or every 3, 4 days. I recommend weekly basis. Then you save that data, and then you can see on the four, because what we want to see is the overall picture at the end of the 4 weeks. Before that, it's just data that is going to be very fluctuating because you're learning to go deeper in that data.
Okay, so let's talk about the worksheet.
Yeah.
So Miss Clara was just talking about knowing where you are right now, but also maybe wanting to know not only where you are right now, but maybe where you've been in the last 90 days.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about the last 90 days. When you do the last 90 days, fourth quarter was in it. So some of you guys, if you are a holiday seller, if you're somebody who sells a lot during the holidays, if you had really good fourth quarter sales, your last 90-day number could be inflated because it's not going to give you a true representation of what's going on right now. But at least you'll start to see the numbers, start to look at the numbers. That what we're trying to do is just get familiar with how this works, right? Get
Yeah.
familiar with what this shows you about your inventory. Get this familiar about how this whole thing works because in a little while, you'll be able to drill down further in the numbers. Once you understand, okay, these are my store numbers, these are my business numbers, right? This is Macari's platform numbers. What you'll be able to recognize is I can sell belts on Macari all day long, but I can't sell CDs on Macari. So maybe it's not worth me putting my time and effort into CDs on Macari.
The numbers to me say that if I keep listing, I'm all my denominator is just going to keep growing.
And
And
I'm telling you, if all you, okay, now I'm going to speak real. Okay. Here's really from me, Brian. I mean, from me to you, Brian.
all right,
If you only want to win the contest and that's all you're trying to do, then yeah, don't list. But you're going to screw your business, Brian. You are going to screw. No, I'm serious.
no, I
It's
know.
not going to screw you in the short term, but in 6 or 8 weeks, you're going to come to a dead halt because you're not feeding the algorithm. The worst thing that anybody can do is to go
Say it.
from listing 10 a day to 0 a day.
Yep. Or
Worst thing
two, or one,
oh,
or three. That affects tremendously, guys. Have
tremendously.
consistency, or even if you commit to one listing a day, the marketplace will reward that activity over you listing 10 every 3 days. So, and this is not because I'm repeating what Depop said. This is universal across every marketplace. So please follow what Trish is saying. Keep listing to the same amount of listings that you're doing normally. But what we're gonna do in order for you, for in both of you that you have a Brian case, your key, your strategy for those of you is gonna be optimization. There is a chance, okay? So whether you choose them, if I was on your feet, I would be like checking on seasonal items, okay, that I know that they're in trend right now, and see what do I have, all right, because and then I would push again, I always push with my VIP or my top shelf items, and see how can I make them sell faster, because one of them will help the whole store overall. So like I said, like I did with the Vicuna code, and that was almost 10K. So
But
I
listing
think
is
that
a
there is.
non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Listing, maybe, okay, and maybe I should have foreseen Mr. Hargis. Maybe I should have foreseen this, that, but listing is a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And it's not a non-negotiable for the contest. It's a non-negotiable for the health of your business.
Exactly.
And when something happens, that is why using a listing bank is so important. That is
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
having the to understand that the only way you make money is if you list. That's the one non-negotiable in this. And so to me, if you try to game the system, the only person you're hurting is yourself because you are gonna spend. I spent 8 months trying to come back from one mistake that I did on eBay
Oh,
by not listing for a week. 8 months it took me to get back to where I was.
I
And to
remember. Yeah.
me, that is not worth the risk.
No.
And and I believe in my soul that if you're trying to build a business, you need to list every single day. And I don't
The
care if it's
real, I think, Trish, the real price here is that we have to make sure with Trish that you guys are selling more. Even Brian, we have to figure it out. So we have 4 weeks, whether it's Brian, Malika, Melissa, Karen, anybody. Our job here, guys, is to help you increase that sell-through rate. That's my 2 cents, Trish.
agreed. Malika.
So I raised my hand because that was important, what you guys just went through. I was like, wait a minute, the purpose for me, yes, I want to be in the contest, but I want to learn. I do have a question though with the I just heard you out loud saying, okay, well, here, even though you say it every day, basically, Trish, list. For whatever reason, my aha Oprah moment just came through. And I'm like, okay, you know what? That correlation made so much sense to me. I do want my eBay business to thrive and take off. So I was doing the contest for my eBay business. However, I did have that period where I was with my family and I was not listing. And you just said, oh, it took you 8 months to ramp back up. And I was
Yep.
thinking, oh, well, it's going to just be a slow period and then it's going to come back. One last point in there. I am going to try to do, like Brian said, I'm going to do some auctions. I'm going to do some promotions. So I'm hoping that during this 4 weeks, we are going to talk about those,
Yes. Yes,
those,
we are. Yes, we are,
okay, and
Malika. Yes,
leveraging
we are.
them. Okay.
Yep. We're going to
Thank
talk
you.
about those. We're going to talk about leveraging auctions. We're going to talk about promotions. And we actually, I think, are going to do that next week so people can start to get them to
Yep.
use them in their best, to their advantage.
Okay.
You know
Thank you,
what I'm
guys.
thinking, Trish, out loud now that and I love.
One second, Kathy. I'll go
oh,
to you next. Sorry. Go ahead, Clara.
Oh, no, Kathy, I didn't see. Sorry. Go
That's
ahead,
okay.
Kathy.
You can
my,
go, Kathy.
my hand went down when I was trying to look at the chat.
I know.
So can I share my screen? Because
Of
I
course.
think people don't understand what I'm trying to say here, and
Yes.
everyone's giving me answers that make sense that I was thinking first, but I'm getting 3 different numbers, not 2.
Okay. All right.
3. Okay.
Okay, Kathy, I love it. Please help us because we're figuring this
Okay.
out along with you.
Thanks. So when I'm looking at my eBay store,
All right.
where I went to my store up here, clicked
Right.
on my store, it says that I have 1719 items. Then when I go to manage my active listings, it says up here that I have 1731 active listings. Down here, it says I have 1731 active listings. So there's 2 numbers that match, but
Right.
then it says quantity 1914. So when I got my numbers yesterday, I used this thinking that the quantity was multi-quantity, and that's how I get from 1731 to 1914. But that doesn't explain how I get from 1719
Okay.
to
Okay.
1731.
Let's just talk about something.
Okay.
Don't ever look at
Thank
your
you,
store.
Kathy. Thank you, Kathy, for bringing that up.
Don't ever look at your store number. Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's
Your store number is bullshit. Don't look at your store
And you know
number.
why, Trish? You know why? Because it's in different servers. Just say.
So the store number, forget that. Okay. Don't ever
Okay.
go to your store to look at that number. The
Thank you.
number you want to look at is the 1731.
Yep.
You do not want to use your quantity number because we are adding in the solds and that's going to add in the quantity. So
Yep.
you only want to look at the listing number.
See.
Okay. The
Yep.
quantity
Okay.
number, and a lot of platforms don't have the quantity number, which is one reason that we got rid of it. So you only want to look at the listing number. And that is why those 2 numbers matched. And that's the important number. So forget about the quantity and the stores. I mean, Clara could be completely right. It's because it's on a different server, but I'm going to
There's a
tell
lag.
you that
So
number
when
is
you're delisting, relisting, good
okay.
to cancel, when eBay does the renew of good to cancel. So there is a lag between that server and the other server. And even if they are in the same server, the communication code that they built lags it.
Okay, so I submitted the wrong numbers then because I submitted the number from the store.
No
So
worry,
should I
Kathy, we got you covered. Yeah,
You can fix it.
you
So
can fix it.
email me.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Email me and just say you need to update the store number and give me the number and I can update it.
Okay.
So you may not have given me the right screenshot, Kathy, so I'm going to have to go in and look at it.
Yep.
Okay. If you gave me the right screenshot, I can update it without you even telling me anything. So
Exactly.
just go in and email me and say, hey, Trish, look at my crap. And I'll do that.
One thing, okay, you did a very good adjustment of the interpretation of STRs. What happened if my STR is under 5%, Trish? Let's talk about it a little. Do you mind if we go there?
No,
Or am
absolutely.
I going to?
Nope.
Okay.
We can do that. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
In my opinion, if your STR is under 5%, you are waiting too long to get your money back out of what you have invested, right? So, and listen, if I buy a Salvatore Dali for $100, right? And it takes me 5 years to sell it for 100,000. I don't care about setting on the $100, okay? But if I am buying a sweatshirt for $5 and that's $5 that I need to reinvest, and I sit on that sweatshirt for 2 years, that's too long.
Yeah.
So it depends on how much you need the money, right? How much space you have. And so what my business can withstand for an STR could be completely different than somebody who lives in like I'm going to use Kathy's house as an example.
Yeah.
Kathy and I are both home-based businesses, okay? I have a large old farmhouse and it's only me and my husband and we don't use most of the rooms. So that's where my inventory is. Kathy's in an apartment with her new husband who does not want to live in a storage facility, and God bless him, I don't blame him. And so Kathy has to be careful about how much inventory she has on hand.
Exactly.
So Kathy's going to strive for a higher STR than maybe I do
Uh-huh.
because I have more room. So I can
Exactly.
take more risks. I can sit on stuff longer. So all of this, it isn't as cut and dry as saying we should
Yep.
all be at 50% sell-through rate for every 90
No.
days because what Kathy can withstand and what I can withstand are two different things. So same with like Gina Altieri. She bought things for 4 cents. She has thousands, 20,000 items that she hasn't even gotten to yet. She has hundreds, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of items that she hasn't gotten to yet. But she has the space. She has a container. It's on her property. She has the time to be able to go through it. And so Gina's sell-through rate of this inventory is much longer than what Kathy would want. And that's because Kathy's circumstances are different. Kathy's business is different. So while we're giving you a generalization, 5%, 10%, 20%, it really comes down to you and your business, what you're selling, what the average sell-through rate of that product is in general. Used clothing, much different than music equipment. Music equipment, much different than hard goods. Hard goods, much different than seasonality things. So you need to figure out where you are in that to be able to start to figure out where it is. So for me, room is not really a big deal. And so for a long time, I didn't care about sell-through rate. Not I didn't care about it as I needed to make a certain amount of money, so I needed it to sell, but I made up in volume, right? I was
Right.
making up in velocity. But if I was a smaller seller, and smaller as in numbers, not as in how much money we're making, but a seller that's trying to make in less space, I'd be way more worried about sell-through rate so I can do it faster and turn this money over.
Or what I did, I moved from beautiful beach house in Long Beach in the middle of the desert of Arizona so I could have a bigger garage and store more items. So and source cheaper in the middle of 100 and very, very high temperatures, 120. What is it? One time I'll never forget, we look at the asphalt and it was 132. And that's what we're doing with Amanda, sourcing in the middle of summer. And you have the goodwill for yourself here in Arizona. So for us to improve my sell-through rate, Trish, we had for us, okay, it makes I sold vintage, and because was one of a kind, and I had to be very careful how to store the one of a kind items. For me, made sense to move out of the comfort zone that I have and go and get a house with a 3-car garage. That changed my business. And then I finally had my living room and finally had my bedroom, my spare bathroom, everything like normal. That changed my
Yeah.
life for me.
And I took one of my bathrooms and have it filled with stuff. What do I care? Julie, I'm sorry, Julie.
I think Clara just answered my question because I have a lot of one-offs because I sell a lot of vintage and antiques. So for instance, I have a purse right now that, is listed for $375.
Ooh.
That's going to take the right person to buy that purse. And so I have a longer time to sell
I
my
feel
stuff.
you. You know
Yeah.
how I fixed that, Julie? Okay. And let me share with you.
So I don't know that the contest, I want to learn it, but I don't know that the contest is going to be right for me because I do have longer tail items.
Let
No, no,
me,
no. Okay, wait, Julie.
no, I want to give the hack to Julie. This is the
Okay.
strategy that I did, Julie, in
Uh-huh.
order to increase my sell-through rate. So I
Mhm.
couldn't buy more. But remember, I was with 1,000 square footage. We were
Mhm.
literally Amanda in one bedroom, I'm in the other bedroom, and we have a tiny apartment. We're trying to make ends meet. Okay. The only way I got out of that situation, Julie, is when I was able to on what is it, when I use social commerce. So I want to share with you, I don't know if, have you ever noticed that we cross list to Instagram?
Oh yes, I'm on Insta. I've been reselling for over 30 years.
Okay,
But
but are you
I'm just
using that?
saying yeah, I use Instagram. Yeah,
But
I'm
are
on
you
Instagram
cross
for
listing
everything.
to Instagram with LP? Just to show you what
Yes.
I, yes? Okay,
Yes.
this for me was key in order for me to accelerate. This is how Ralph Lauren found me. This is how H Bar C, all those
Mhm.
brands are traditional. They found me. This is how Rockstar people found me. So this was the only way that I was effectively, without working more, just pressing one click, and it
Okay.
worked for me, Julie, still. And I'll be
Okay.
honest, guys, yes, I did have a talk with Facebook Marketplace, but man, I love getting that traffic from Instagram and then getting people to my eBay store.
Okay.
Just saying,
I'll
works
focus
like a
more
charm.
on that then.
But
Not
Julie,
doing more. Yes, Trish.
here's the thing. You're not up against other people. You're
Right.
only up against yourself. So
Right.
Exactly.
even though
Right.
your item's a long tail, right? They've
Mhm.
always been long tail.
Yes.
So improving your sell through is against yourself. We're not comparing you to
Right.
somebody else.
Right.
So I don't want anyone can win this.
Yeah, I'm
I
just here to learn how to do more, not
okay.
necessarily focus on the content,
And
I
if
guess is what
you
I was saying.
okay,
Yeah.
No, but I
great.
recommend that strategy, Julie. For your situation, I want you to channel social
Okay.
commerce. You're gonna tag onto Instagram, and do not, it's not a marketplace, okay? You just cross list
Right.
your top-notch items and
Okay.
let LP do use the storytelling tone, okay?
Okay.
And
Thank
then
you.
the other thing, you're welcome. The other thing I wanted to say is
Yep.
Tommy.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Oh, I'm going to try to ask this question, and forgive me if I don't do it and make sense, but I'm looking at the sheet and I'm trying to figure out the best, I don't know if it's strategy, procedure, or process. I guess maybe process
Right.
of between the pricing adjustments and the relist strategy.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're looking at your 20 oldest items and you need to make a price and change. But then you're also looking at your oldest items and you need to also relist those items.
Right.
So what is the process, or how is the best way to handle of relist or repricing them? How long do you wait for them to sit at that reprice versus relisting? Does that make
So
sense?
yeah, it does. In my opinion. So are we talking eBay here?
Any platform, I would assume it would
All
hold
right.
true
Well,
with every platform.
eBay itself
It's
says
unique.
that eBay itself says that your listings become stale, stagnant after
90 days.
90 days. Sorry. Stale and
Stale
stagnant.
and stagnant. Okay.
I do
And
a
they
lot.
lose ranking and visibility after
Correct.
90 days. However, if you ask the sale, okay, a different team, they will say 6 months to a year. So the thing is, Tommy, is that there's gonna be a lot of conflicting information, but here is the key. So guys, go and see your listings and you're gonna see different columns and it says impressions, viewers, and I'm doing this by heart, impression, viewers, and watchers. So Tommy, if you have too many impressions and you can't convert that into viewers and watchers, there is a fundamental listing problem. But if that listing has impressions and then it caught the viewers and has some watchers, all right, we have a listing, maybe it's an adjustment of pricing, or maybe visibility, maybe a promotion campaign. You have a good listing there. Now, if you have too many watchers and low impressions, your pricing is too low. That's a telltale. So too many watchers and very low impressions, go and increase the price right away. This is what we live with, Amanda, and worked all the time. And people would be like, hey, I was going to buy this and you just increased it. I'm like, why didn't you buy it? You know, so then I would wait. And then I would be like, oh, I'm sorry. So and I would buy time. So that would give me 24 hours to see if I would receive a higher offer for what I increased the price. So that is the biggest hack that I can tell you, Tommy. If you have too many impressions and low watchers, use eBay. Guys, use eBay. That's why eBay, I'm not saying commit to eBay, but use eBay's data to give you an idea, because other marketplaces are not so good with this data. Obviously, they're giving you buyer behavior data. We don't offer that service. That's what I'm telling you. Go and see these, understanding your buyer behavior. And by looking at your listings, you're going to tell which one of your listings are high quality and which ones need to be retouched. In other words, don't undo the work. If you have a lot of watchers and viewers, don't release the list. You see what I'm saying? Just make a tweak and update the listing.
So we'll just say Poshmark for an example.
Okay.
They don't give you good data.
Oh yeah, you have to download or use LP. That's, and you have to download the spreads. Well,
yeah.
Okay.
So when you're looking at the pricing adjustments for your oldest item versus relisting, when do you, because you're always looking at your oldest items though. So if you at one do the price adjustment on Poshmark, how long should you wait then until you actually relist that if you lower it? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand completely what you're saying. Trish, I'm going to say something. Maybe, Trish and I tend to see differently on things, but I can tell you, and this is the beauty, okay? That's the beauty of building an incredible company, because we can really keep in mind different perspectives. So in this case, Tommy, with Poshmark, I would say use the data. You can still leverage the data from eBay, but, you can commit yourself to the numbers on Poshmark.
I agree with this. I mean, here's the thing. In my opinion, everyone should be looking at the eBay data. The eBay data will extrapolate over the other platforms.
Buyer behavior all over.
The other platforms don't give us the data that eBay does. You should all be downloading your listing quality listings report. You should all be looking about where your traffic comes from.
Please.
You should all be looking at all of these things. Now, I know that some of us in this room are just starting, and so the fundamentals are important. And so when I say, well, what are your impressions? What are this? That doesn't mean anything to you yet, okay? So one of the ideas about getting to be a better reseller is understanding the more of this stuff. And I put a thing out on Facebook last night about sell-through rate, and about if you don't know what sell-through rate is, you may be running. I was a little jerky about it, and I said you may be running, but you're not running a business.
Yeah.
And why I know is a little mean. I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just really trying to get people to think. And I said it was an unpopular opinion. And somebody wrote, well, I didn't go to business school. And so I said, you don't have to go to business school. I didn't go to business school, but it took me a long time to figure this stuff out. And if I had known it at the beginning, I would have had less of a drastic curve of how long I was unsuccessful. Okay. And so learning this stuff can help you get all of the other stuff to work better together. And I'm going to go back to listing is a non-negotiable. That is absolutely fundamental across all of the platforms. That listing, and in my opinion, listing daily. And if you don't want to list daily, I totally understand. You schedule the listings, pay somebody else. I don't care what you do. Listing daily, in my opinion, is fundamental. Now, could you do it 5 days a week and take the weekend off? Yes. I think it's going to take you a little bit longer for eBay to realize you only do it Monday through Friday and you take Saturday and Sunday off. Same thing with just taking Sunday off. eBay will adjust to that, but it will take a while. So if you're somebody right now who lists 5 days a week, do not stop to do this other stuff. You've
Right.
got to build on top of that. And
Mhm.
so figuring out where you're getting your traffic from, how much Google are you getting? Are you getting outside Google? And if not, why aren't you getting Google
Yeah,
Plus?
why?
Right.
Uh-huh.
And do you have flat rate shipping? Are you still
There.
using calculated shipping?
There.
Who in this room is still using calculated shipping? Anybody?
And if you are, okay, Karen. All
Are you
right.
talking just for eBay?
Yeah, well, no, I'm not. I mean, the thing about Google is if you don't have to get
Shipping fee.
indexed in Google, when you go to Google and you type in Ugg boots, let's even do brown Ugg boots, okay? You're going to get all of these different things that pop up that tell you where you can go buy brown Ugg boots, okay? Google, while you may be indexed in Google, you are not going to be shown as an example if Google does not have all the information. Google
Yeah.
does not want you to leave their site
Yeah.
without you knowing how much it costs. So if you have free shipping, great. If you have flat rate shipping, great. If you have calculated shipping, you are not being shown because Google does not like the buyer experience that it then has to leave and go to your Shopify store to put in my zip code to
Yep.
figure out what the shipping is.
Exactly.
So some of the impressions when you look at your eBay stuff and it shows you where your impressions are coming from, people that have their either free shipping or flat rate shipping will have a higher traffic coming from outside of eBay
Exactly.
because Google knows what to do with that listing. Google does not want to give your customer or you the false sense of then you have to go somewhere else and plug it in and figure
Right.
it out. When all of these other people, I can say, hey, it's going to be $100.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are using calculated shipping, I would get away from that.
Yes.
Karen.
So if you go to flat rate shipping, then how do you tend to do it? I'm in Florida, so of course sending to California is the most expensive. Do you do it by weight? Like you have tiers of weight?
Business policies with weights. Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly right. Tiers of weight. And you can either do it. Some people are very concerned about like making sure they don't lose any money on the shipping. And if you are that person, then just use Alaska. That was Clara. Clara.
And Alaska, and I would use the most like the Mariana Islands, or something like that, okay? Or the atoll, like anything like very far away. And then that's what I would establish, okay, in order my shipping policies. I live by shipping policies that they are divided, by the weight.
So do you do like 8 ounces, 1 pound? I mean, how does
Wait one sec. Does anybody have the shipping thing from Teresa on them that they could drop in the chat and we could give it to Karen?
Yeah.
So I can interrupt for just a moment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tommy. Yeah.
I just found this like maybe 2-3 months ago.
All right.
But under our account settings, there's a thing where you can add a shipping rate table, and they have it set up by region. And so for me, I'm on the West Coast. So a lot of my stuff goes to the East Coast. So I was always fighting, well, it's $5 here. It might be $7 there. My customers in California might not want to pay $7, because I was doing that one rate for all thing. But on eBay, at least, they give you the shipping rate tables and you can add in by region. And so everybody in this region, and they're automatically populated by eBay. And you can go in and say, well, it's $7.99. And so if you use these rate tables, it's going to index it for the Google because it's going to show them a rate
for the Google.
Right. So this is one way around that. If you, especially for your larger items, say you have a heavyweight item, it's going to cost you $10 to ship to California for me versus $20 to ship it maybe to Florida. And so people might want to use the calculated, but it's not going to show up on Google. But if you use a shipping rate table, you're going to be able to accommodate both.
Okay, Kara, so here's a couple of things. So Karen, that's a chart that somebody who works at LP, Teresa, she made that, and that's the one she uses in her business. She's in Arizona, and she uses like Massachusetts or wherever to kind of make the rates. So and she made, I think, $2,000 or $3,000, she said, last year on her shipping. So she may lose 50 cents on one item, but she would gain $3 on the next item, right?
Yep.
So for her, it always comes out in the wash. What Tommy is talking about is a little bit more complicated, not that much more complicated, but it would take you a little while longer to do, and it would set up for each zone, so that you would make sure you're absolutely covering your cost all of the time. I think that what I should do, and I am not going to tell you I'm going to do this next week, but maybe the week after, let's have a listing party. We did this maybe a year ago or so. We did this. We had a listing party to show everybody how to go from free or flat rate shipping to calculated. I can do it again. I just don't know if I can do it next week. It might have to be the week after. I can do that, and I can try to help anybody that needs help to do it.
That would be great.
Okay.
Trish, I'm sorry.
Trish,
Yeah.
maybe we can do a
there was something
pre-recorded of that, Trish. Sorry, my love. Maybe we can do a pre-recorded so we can help Julie as fast as possible. I'm just thinking,
I don't know. Okay. My problem is my plate is really full. I got to go to Cats today. So I need a couple of days.
Got it.
That's my problem. Go ahead.
Cat can wait. She's sick. She needs to rest.
She's already called me 4 times.
Oh, tell her to just chill.
Angela.
There was something that you said that was a little incorrect there, Trish.
Okay.
And I don't know how many people will pick up on it. So in California alone, you have 5 different zones worth of shipping.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the table is based on region.
Yeah. You are absolutely right.
Yep.
All I was trying to say is I'm in Massachusetts. I use 90210 to figure out what that will cost.
But also, Pirate Ship has a downloadable Google document, and their rates basically match eBay rates. And so you can do it just based on territory and weight.
You totally can. Absolutely. This is a solvable issue by doing it multiple different ways, right? Free shipping, like you could do it a whole bunch of different ways. The one thing I don't think anyone should be doing is calculated, because you're gonna lose your Google traffic.
My thing is that I looked at the table before, and because I was in California, I couldn't even put a California rate because of the zones. And so when you said zone and region,
you're 100% right.
That's why I was like, oh, I actually
You're 100% right. Annette, go ahead. And Chris Dunnard and I are going to go to the 24-hour room after this and help anybody who needs help with screenshots and submitting the thing. Go ahead, Annette.
Teresa's working on updating that shipping chart because of the last update. So she says it's not right. So if you have a lot of listings, I would hold off if you're going to do that, because then you're going to have to do it again, because she's working on it right now.
Okay. And let me just say this. This rate, these are rates that work for Teresa's business.
Yeah.
They may not work for you.
Exactly.
I don't do them in my category. Okay, I don't want to get off on a shipping thing, but I'm going to for 1 second. In my category of used clothing, these are way too high. These are too expensive for my people. Okay, so I don't use this chart. I don't want anyone to think that this chart is. This is one that works for Teresa and her business.
Oh, wow. So I was really expensive then.
But you were also selling. Okay, here's the difference. You were selling vintage items.
Yeah.
Vintage items to a collector, to a specific customer. My people are buying used Walmart clothes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a different customer. And Annette, I agree with Annette. Teresa is trying to make money on her shipping. Teresa doesn't want to lose money on her shipping.
Yeah.
I lose money on my shipping constantly.
Oh no, I would die.
But
No,
I
no,
have
no,
it
no,
baked
no,
into
no,
my
no.
price. So I just want everyone to realize there's lots of different things happening at one time. That's all. And Annette, are you flat rate or are you calculated?
No, I went to flat rate.
Okay, good. Good.
Yeah.
And Pam said, our Pam, was perfectly Pam, said she uses Teresa's chart whether she was in Florida or Maryland. And that's how much of a difference is baked into it, right? That's
Yeah.
how much room is in that chart.
Yep.
So that chart's a little expensive because it worked the same for Pam whether she was in Florida or Maryland going across the country. So
Also, it's like how you ship, because if I'm going to buy a $20 coat from Target from Trish,
Yeah.
send it to me in a poly mailer.
Right.
I'm going to buy a Vicona coat
Yes.
from,
Oh, I would fold it. I would even go to
it better
Tommy,
come
I
in a
would go
box.
to IKEA and I would have the white zippered cover, and on top of that could be covered on a plastic dry cleaner bag. So yeah,
But
presentation
that,
was
that better come to me like in a box.
Oh, fluff and fold. It's just the touch you're giving, because I wanted people to, the more aha they get, the less they focus on the flaws. So remember, I was using vintage clothing when vintage clothing was not trendy.
And Debbie, I just want to say, Debbie, are you using business policies within eBay?
Yes.
Okay. So to update the thing would take seconds, just so you know. Once you have your shipping policies, if the post, if you feel like you have to go up $1 or 50 cents, it would take 2 seconds to do.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very easy. Okay. Thanks, guys. Next
Thank
week
you,
we're talking about,
everybody.
and I can always give it out in Mastermind. If you do not come to Mastermind, please try it. We'd love to have you. I saw some new people in here. Please come if you're around. Thank you guys so much, and see anybody who needs help in the 24-hour room. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Wait, if anyone doesn't know what the 24-hour rooms, when you go at the top of the vents, if you're new here, when you go into a vent where you came into here, if you look up right at the top, it says 24-hour room, click that button. You'll be in a room like this, but with different people.